Keith, yeah.
Hey, Colton.
What are you doing, man?
I was sending a text message.
I saw that. That's
Not
okay.
paying attention.
That's all right.
But
We just started.
here.
It's fine. We took a long enough time trying to start it already.
I know how to improv a little bit.
That's okay. We'll make it. We'll survive. What are we talking about today?
Well, today is a new type of episode. I guess it would be an extended, sporadic series of sorts of podcasts.
Extendo sporadic.
I don't know
series.
What was it? What's the name? It's a well.
I'm thinking about going Mind Power.
Mind Power.
Mind Power.
The series of Mind Power podcasts are basically about individuals who have harnessed the power of their will, intelligence, drive, focus.
Absolutely.
Anything with their mind, and we'll just cover that person. You know what I mean?
A little short biopic.
There you go.
Biopic? I don't know how you're supposed to say that. I always get that wrong.
Isn't biopic like
Movies?
Movie?
Yeah. This is a movie, but for
video?
your ears.
It's video. No.
Movie for your ears. Yeah, we're gonna see how this goes and see if it's well received. As usual, please let us know what you think by the end of this episode. But today we're gonna cover the one, the only, David Goggins.
Who?
David Goggins.
Sounds like an asshole.
He can come off as one sometimes, from what I've read.
All the videos we've watched of him, he seemed pretty. He has those, characteristics of a grade A asshole.
Yeah, a little narcissism, narcissism, little narcissism in there.
Narwhal schism.
But in a way, it's kind of if narcissism was ever deserved, I feel like this guy probably has earned a right to be a little narcissistic.
For sure. And also, he uses it, I guess, in a positive way, like 100% positive.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Definitely pushing for other people to better themselves as well.
For sure. He's just very abrupt and brute.
Oh, very rough around the edges kind of guy. If you don't like him, you're not going to like him. That's just all there is to it.
I'm going to tell you right now, not a big fan.
I like him a lot.
But he's cool. I like his purpose and his story as well. It's cool.
So to give a little bit of background on his story of who David Goggins is, he is a black man. He couldn't read until he was in junior high school. Grew up pretty impoverished, very impoverished, I'm sure he'd say, and had a really rough start.
His dad was a pimp?
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A rough start.
He was also abused child as well.
But as he got older, I know for a fact he went to the Air Force. Mm-hmm. He did. I can't remember the very special name. I'm going to look it up here for a second while we're talking about it. But he was in the Air Force for quite a while and got out, gained some weight, started killing roaches for a pest company.
Right. Pest control company, yeah.
And to the best of my knowledge, he more or less woke up one day and decided this was not how he was going to live his life anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there was more at play than just he woke up and decided that, but that's effectively, he just flipped a switch. And when I say flipped a switch, I mean he literally 180'd.
A breaker.
Yeah. Absolute change. And how much weight did he lose?
Okay, so he gained about 120 pounds in the span of 3 years, okay?
Okay.
And then 2 years, gained about 120 pounds in 2 years. Lost 106 pounds in 3 months.
Goodness gracious.
I was listening to him today, actually, maybe yesterday, and he was saying that it's 3,500 calories for a pound.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he had just been running numbers or something in his head, and for every day for 3 months, he remained active all day long.
Because it was 80-something days of it, right? Of nonstop, a certain really intense workout
Right. He was, wasn't he running 6 miles a day?
Yeah, he was starting his day off with a banana at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and then running 6 to 10 miles a day.
Right, and he'd like run, and then he would do something else, and then he'd like do a bike ride,
Yeah,
like in the gym, you know,
That's
and
right.
he'd study for his ASVAB on that to re-enter. So like while he was doing cardio, he was studying to obviously place better whenever he re-entered. Which I don't know if it's technically re-entry with when you're going cross, like Air Force to Navy like that, because he became a Navy SEAL. I don't know if we said that yet,
No, not yet.
but
You know, we like to preface things.
right,
Foreshadowing.
foreshadowing.
Dick.
Sorry, but anyways,
Foreskin. Get it?
ah,
Okay. But yeah, anyways, studying hard on his little bicycle.
Yeah, he studied for quite a... I finally came across his exact words of what made him decide to flip this switch.
I thought it was okay, go ahead, sorry.
He came home from work late at one night with a milkshake in hand, and he sat down to watch TV and came across an ad for SEAL training.
Okay.
Or you had your hand up. What were you about to say there?
Okay, because I was listening to something. I can't remember what it was, but he was like talking about Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
When Rocky was fighting Apollo Creed, and like it was the 14th round or something, and that like Rocky had just gotten pummeled by Apollo Creed, and Apollo Creed's like, you know, they're in the corners, and Apollo Creed has his fists up. He's like, you know, ready to get it, you know, just trying to hype the crowd up a little bit, and everybody in Rocky's corner is saying, "Don't go back out there, don't go."
Yeah.
And it was like when Apollo Creed saw Rocky stand up, he said, Apollo Creed's face is what motivated me. Like, because his face was just spiritually defeated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way
there's
he's getting back up.
Exactly.
But he got back up.
Yeah, I don't know. He's an interesting dude, man. Like, he sounds exactly the way he is, you know, explained.
If you've never listened to David Goggins speak at all before this, there's numerous YouTube videos. He's done a podcast with Joe Rogan at least once.
Yeah, for sure.
He has his own YouTube channel where he does his motivational talks while running most of the time.
Every one of them.
Or while he has his hands tied behind his back and his ankles tight and he swims like a fish in the water afterwards to prove that he can.
Oh, you know that water was cold, too.
Absolutely. But he's tough as nails from what I can tell.
He sounds like he smokes like 5 cigars a day.
I think it's just because he yells. He's just so angry at the world.
You're right. He does yell a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's set out to prove a point. So he's just
To who?
To himself more than anything.
That's
It
it.
looks like. Which that's something I want to touch on here in a little bit. We're going to try to break down what we think about his psyche.
Okay, cool.
But he made it to Navy SEALs. Well, he made it to the training for Navy SEALs. He had to do 3 Hell Weeks to make it through. And I believe Hell Weeks, it's somewhere around 80 hours of nonstop activity per Hell Week, something like that. So he did that 3 times, which would be bad enough to do once, really bad to do 3 times, super bad to do it 3 times in 1 year. I don't even think they're supposed to do that anymore. They're like,
I think he's the only person to ever do that.
they don't allow that. The first 2 times was injuries, right? He had like some stress-related fracturing,
And then, like, pneumonia.
some tears and stuff, and then pneumonia. Mm-hmm. But the 3rd time, he finally made it through.
I thought the 3rd time he broke his patella and still made it.
Yeah, he made it through. I think he
with a
did
broken
break his
patella.
patella, but he
Yeah.
made it through.
Oh, man.
He this is something else I kind of want to talk about with that extreme weight loss. Because as a big man, I've been told numerous times the best way to lose weight is to try to shoot for 2 pounds per week. That's a maximum. Like that's the highest you want to lose healthily, they say. Well, at 106 pounds lost in 3 months, it's way more than 2 pounds a week that he was losing. So I'm curious to know if some of the health problems he had later, such as getting damaged more in Hell Week and even more so later in his career, if they stem from the fact that he lost weight so fast or the fact that he was overweight in general or a combination of both or maybe neither. You know, maybe it's some other stuff. So,
All right.
But it is interesting to think about because he never let any of that stop him. Even to this day, there's a video he put out a day ago that I showed you as soon as we got here where he's running again. And I think he just had knee surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And I say just. Within a reasonable amount of time, just had knee surgery, and he's already back to running again. Guys, you can't stop the guy. I mean, I think only death is going to stop Goggins, and he might even carry his own casket to the grave for that. So I don't know.
That's well put. I like that.
he might do that.
Oh shit. All right. Okay. The 106 pounds thing.
That's a lot of weight, man. Like I struggle to lose
12 weeks.
anything. He lost 100.
12 weeks. He lost 106 pounds. Right. 4 weeks in a month.
Yeah.
Okay. So
4 times 3 is 12. So.
I can't even do that math right now.
Well, if it was 120 pounds, it'd be 10 pounds a week.
Yeah.
So it was 106 pounds. So it's somewhere around like what 7, 8 pounds a week, somewhere around there.
It'd be more than that.
Would it be?
I think.
Do the math real quick. We sound real dumb. I don't want people
sorry.
hearing us sound super dumb. Ding, ding, ding.
13.3.
13.3 pounds a week.
Yeah.
For 12 weeks?
160 divided by 12?
Was it 160 or 106 pounds?
Oh, shit. I'm thinking 106.
160.
I'm done.
And another side for everyone here. Keith just got off of a 12-hour work day. I haven't. I'm chilling, you know.
It's 9 pounds. You're right. You're right.
So it's about 9 pounds a week. But still, though, considering 2...
I'm sorry.
considering 2 is what the maximum
goal, yeah.
people want you to shoot for, 9 a week is intense.
And, like, what are the actual health risks of losing so much weight so dramatically, so quickly?
I don't even know for sure besides...
Bad for your heart.
Homeostasis gets thrown off
Right.
at that point. Your body likes to maintain whatever it's at. If you're healthy, it likes to stay healthy. If you're fat, it likes to stay fat. It's whatever you've been the longest because it's used to it.
Right.
So that's why when people if you're super skinny and you try to gain weight, you find it difficult. If you're super big and you try to lose weight, you find it difficult. It's because your body is clinging to dear life for what it's already used to because it's balanced itself out enough.
And that's a huge thing that David Goggins is about.
Right.
Doing things that are uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Straying away from the norm.
In a way, like scientifically, what he did is a nightmare to your body, but it just really shows how much your brain can overcome. Because I remember something you specifically told me. You probably don't even remember this.
I bet I
This
do.
was at West Middle School when we were benching in the gym. And this is a very common phrase that people use all the time, but it's weight that I was afraid I was not going to be able to pick up. And because I was so afraid, I didn't succeed in picking it up. And Keith just walked in there. I don't even think he was even in there before. But he just walked in there and someone's like, Keith, hit this. He just laid down, hit it real quick, set it back up, said, mind over matter, baby, and walked out.
I literally knew it, too. I did the M-O-M, like sign language.
He did sign it to me. Still don't have a camera up. Hate me for it.
Who cares, man? That's funny as fuck, though.
But no, for real, that was like...
That's true.
It's super cheesy and cliche because everyone says it. But the reason it's cliche is because it's true to an extent.
Yeah, no,
like
there's
stuff
certain
like
things.
movies like Split and all that, where dude just tanks a shotgun blast. Like I don't think you can. You might maybe if you like monk level chakra zoned, maybe
Deep throat humming.
for real though. Goggins is the embodiment of. I almost say unbridled willpower. Because he just, I don't even know if he has a stopping point. This is something me and you were talking about earlier too. Like, he's just surrounded by kind of yes men at this point. It feels like it's like no one's going to try to tell him not to or that he can't. And I think it would almost backfire if they did. Like that reverse psychology. Like,
quit talking to him.
well, he'd either quit talking to him or he'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'll show you.
Prove you wrong. Yeah, exactly.
I'll show you real quick. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, and I mean, it would definitely be. They would only tell him he couldn't do anything because it's piquing their interests and into seeing if he can do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's another thing
That's
we were kind
all
of
it
joking
is.
about. It's like, if I was around him, I'd be like, maybe you can lift that car. You know, maybe if you like squatted and picked it up by the front end, you could, deadlift it. Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe
I
not.
mean,
Probably
try
not.
it.
You're probably pretty weak.
I mean, calves are genetics, so get out of
And
here.
then try to convince him to do it. He'd find a way to do it. It might kill him in doing it, but I think he'd find a way.
He would die. He would kill himself.
I mean, that's the only way people like that will find peace.
That's the most dramatic. I mean, that's the most hard-hitting statement of the night so far.
Well, I mean, I kind of derived that off of what he was saying, because in that last video we watched, he was like, a true dog mentality, it's never enough. Nothing's ever enough. And I'm like, if nothing's ever enough, you're never going to be satisfied.
Never.
And like everything in life, there's a pro and a con to that. No good deed goes unpunished. So if you look at everything as constantly a battle, always a battle, it's always not enough, then you're never going to be satiated.
Isn't that like the biggest, like, that is just greed.
In a way, it's like selfish greed,
Deep
though.
down
Like,
narcissistic
I almost feel like
greed.
we're painting Goggins as a bad guy right now, but I'm not trying to, because he definitely sees the day of his own life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
For sure. Every day.
every day, like, there's nothing he does that he didn't want to do. He does what he wants to do.
Yep.
And that kind of leads me into the second half of his story. Where he got into SEALs, like we said, 3 hell weeks, got into the SEALs. Things went well for him there. He ended up actually, I think he did, let's see, he made combat deployments to Iraq with SEAL Team 5. He served as a training instructor for other SEALs. In 2005, during Operation Red Wings, 12 Navy SEALs were killed and more were injured in brutal fighting, and he was a part of that group. Right. So he made it through. And from his own words, apparently he made it through Delta Force training. So whether or not he got used for that, we'll never know, because I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to talk about most of the stuff they do. So what I'm saying, he's a bad, bad man.
He is.
But also, yet again, beckoning back, everything comes at a price. So achieving these goals he achieved as quickly as he did and the way he did, these dramatic changes, personally, and I'm not a doctor,
Right.
I believe he could have damaged himself a little bit, in a way. Because I know there were a few missions that he had to miss out on, from what other people told and from his own words, that seemed to be for health-related reasons. Now, a lot of the other SEALs apparently didn't like Goggins as much as some of the others. I imagine a lot of SEALs don't like each other, though, because these are all big alpha dogs.
They're all alphas, yeah, exactly.
And you can only be the biggest. You can't all be the biggest dicks in the room.
Yep.
It's not going to happen. So obviously, there's going to be some
smaller dicks,
some pride. Yeah, there's going to be some smaller dicks in the room. But from what I can tell, from what other SEALs have talked about him, he's pretty quiet. He's pretty, almost in a strange way. Like, I haven't heard these personally. I've read where they've said that he seems to be fighting some personal demons most of the time. Like, he is very egocentric, very self-motivated, which is in a way a good thing, because he doesn't rely on an external force.
Right.
No motivation has to come in to make him get up and go to the gym. It's all from inside. But the flip to that coin is no extra information really matters.
It's about him.
It's about him, which is, like I said, there's a good and a bad side to things. So,
two sides, yes.
A lot of the SEALs have, from what I've read, talked about how he's kind of almost disenfranchised. Like, he's his own unit, and it almost reminds me of when a kid is bullied a lot. And when they finally grow up and they're maybe not as fat or not covered in zits or not, whatever it is that got them made fun of, they carry that chip on their shoulder mentality.
Forever.
And he's definitely got that possibility from growing up impoverished, growing up not being able to read.
I mean, he's a traumatized human being.
Yeah,
for sure.
From being traumatized, and you carry that.
You
carry that along with you every day.
No matter how much training and weight you lose.
Right.
Neither.
And imagine a lot of that self motivation, that gas pedal in his brain that he can press whenever he wants to.
What's that Pantera song?
Demons Be Driven, or From Demons Be Driven.
Oh, by Demons Be Driven.
By Demons Be Driven.
Yeah,
I was all around it. Nowhere near
but
it.
it was there. You said it.
I said it
enough.
earlier, so
Close enough. But I mean, that's what he is pretty much. If what you're telling me is true.
Right. Well, of course, most of the information I've got has not been from David Goggins himself.
Right. They've been from his...
I've watched a few of his interviews. I have never caught any of the parts of his interviews where he discusses his youth. I've mainly read from third parties, from other people talking about him. So I could be completely wrong on a lot of this, unfortunately. I'd like to have Goggins talk through Skype or something, but
He wouldn't talk with us. We're fat.
yeah, he's wait 3 months. We have to lose the same amount of weight he did.
He can go fuck himself. I think my heart has had enough.
Shoo! I mean, it would be.
I'd lose that
rough.
30-pound, that 30th pound in the 4th week, and fucking blood clot would go straight to my brain.
I was about to say your heart would just start playing "Bleed" by Meshuggah. It's just, it's just over.
Oh man!
But apparently, with some of his health issues, he had to miss out on a few missions with the SEALs, and this caused like a really strange thing. And yet again, this is all third party, and this might not even be all of the picture. But from what I can tell, he genuinely had health issues. Mm-hmm. He genuinely needed to not be on those missions.
It wasn't cowardice.
Right, it wasn't cowardice, but a lot of the SEAL brothers
Thought it was
cowardice because he's not there. And I don't think Goggins ever talked to them about it because that whole pride element, it's not in his control. He doesn't want to not be in control. I feel that. There's a lot of things I want to be in control of that I'm not. So I definitely get, if you were in control enough to 180 your life and get to the SEALs and Delta Force and all that jazz. And,
you got to feel like you are the master.
And then suddenly something out of your control, like a heart problem, kicks up and you're down and you're waiting on someone else to fix it for you, then that's a big deal. Because very pride-driven, egocentric individuals are going to have trouble accepting any external help, first of all, and much less accepting that they have to have external help.
Yeah, the accepting that they have to have it, that's almost like going through the grieving process for them.
Right. Well, I mean, it would be...
It's traumatizing.
It's the last thing you want to do.
It's traumatizing for an extremely prideful person.
Right, especially...
that has achieved so much, too.
Thinking about going from... He felt like he had no control in the beginning.
Exactly.
That's an assumption, but I'm going to imagine based off of what I know from his childhood, that's a very powerless feeling. And suddenly one day you're powerful. And not only are you powerful, you're debatably one of the most powerful of your generation, able to turn things completely around from I'm fat and drinking milkshakes on my couch to I run 10 miles a day because I choose to.
Honestly, is that not the craziest statistic ever? 106 pounds in 90 days?
That's pretty significant.
Excuse
I wonder
me,
if there's
92, 93 days?
I wonder if there's anyone else that's lost that much weight that quickly. Surely there
has to be.
There's got to be someone somewhere at least.
But I don't think anybody has done that in 3 months, right?
Yeah.
And then gone through 3 hell weeks.
Something of the equivalent of that at least, yeah.
In a year.
No.
That's zero.
Unfathomable. Like, I know people that sit in this chair that I'm sitting in that are talking right now that don't even have the the willpower.
What's his name, dude?
His name's Colton. Don't even have the willpower to go to the gym every other day. So it's very
at some
amazing.
Point, you know what David Goggins would tell you?
Oh, absolutely.
Stay hard.
Yeah, stay hard. You don't know me, bitch.
That's exactly what he would say. You don't know yourself. Like, get out of my house, man.
Yeah. When everything's crumbling down and you're the only one left standing, that's when you know who you really are.
That's a true statement.
Yeah, I mean, it's very true. I mean, nothing...
But I don't want his spit hitting me in the face when he's yelling that at me.
Maybe he wants it to hit your face.
I want to kiss him then.
Maybe.
If he's going to spit on my face, we should just go all the way.
Might as well.
I'm just playing.
You heard it here. Keith's slightly gay for David Goggins.
I'm not at all. He would be a brutal lover, probably, wouldn't he? You think?
I could only imagine.
He's like the only way he can I'm sorry to take this on the comedic route, but
the
only way he can have coitus is like on a treadmill.
Either that or it's like inverse of what he has to be not in control at all or he doesn't enjoy it.
Oh, he's dominated.
Yeah.
He's a sub? You think I'm telling David Goggins, you think he's submissive?
I mean, he might enjoy that. So, David, you don't have to ever respond to this if you hear him, but try it once.
David Goggins.
Let your oh my gosh, let your woman just have fun for a little while and see what happens. You might enjoy it. You might not.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, no one else knows.
The worst case scenario, his wife goes missing.
Hopefully not. He's
Yeah,
not
I
a
mean,
police officer.
Hopefully. Oh! God, I wish you guys could have seen Colton's face just go from full masked smile to straight, just grim looking. Yeah, no. He is cool though. I do appreciate him in the long run because
Yeah.
honestly, watching some of those videos, that could inspire you to do a lot. Even if you're working some mundane job that I do. I watched a few videos of his today, and it like gave me a little pep. You know what I mean?
Well, it's good to hear like that. That's a true like pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right.
Like that guy was, like he was in the Air Force before.
Yeah.
He did things, but everyone has these little downward valleys that they get in, and hearing somebody that was able to skyrocket themselves out of it is insane.
It is. It's extremely inspirational.
Very much so. And that's kind of what he does now. He's retired. He's 45 years old. Been retired from the SEALs for a little while.
Runs 10 miles every day still.
Runs a lot. Still motivationally speaks. Still runs like specialized 5, 10. What was the other one we were watching?
100K.
100Ks. He gets out there. He does things. So if you want to hear more about David...
Yeah, I'm listening.
You laughed about he does things. He gets out there. He lives. He
does
breathes.
things. He breathes.
I mean, he's not.
I doubt
he's
he reads.
not. I bet he does read.
It was a joke.
Oh,
because
he
he's
didn't.
dumb.
He didn't whenever he was younger.
Yeah,
but,
when he was like...
yeah, I get you. He's got to make up for it now.
I didn't read till about 15, all right?
See, I was the opposite. I could read well in school, then I got out and didn't care anymore.
But started watching the movies.
Yeah. But we both said it at the
You
same
like that?
time.
I
That's
timed
a
it.
little
I looked
creepy.
at your face because I knew you were going to say it.
Look up this man, please.
DavidGoggins.
You will enjoy it. If for nothing else, just the sheer magnitude of this dude's like
Tenacity.
personality is it's fantastic to watch. And we kind of glazed over his life because this is kind of what we want to do, just more or less showcase some people that we like. It's been about 30 minutes. That's about the time I've been shooting for.
Right.
But
a little short, just a taste.
Yeah, just a little short little. Here you go.
Here's a little morsel.
Here's a little morsel for you. But for real, I think most people should watch David Goggins at least once. Watch something from David Goggins at least once. Read up about him, the things he's accomplished, and understand that the very words that he would probably tell you if he's standing there is that you can do it too.
Exactly. And, I mean, he would say, get your ass up and let's start moving.
Yeah.
Let's start working on bettering ourselves every day.
Because what was it, the 10% rule?
What is the 10%
Every
rule?
day try to be 10% better than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be big leaps and bounds, which is kind of ironic coming from him because he went from like 150% better like the next day. But, for the rest of us regular folks,
Just
10%
start with
a
1%
day.
a day and build up to 6%. And then you get to 8, and then you're like, I got that less 2%.
And he was like, if you're used to sitting on the couch all the time, then your 10% is just getting up off the couch and moving, just doing something,
And that's motivational, man. That's like bare minimum. You know
I mean,
what I want to listen. I want to go to one of his speeches. That'd
I would
be
love to
fucking
do
cool,
that.
man.
I would love to do that.
A little seminar of the Gogs.
The seminar of the Gogs.
What's his? All right, no, never mind.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I was thinking of his name backwards. Devad Snoggig. No. Snigog. Snigagog.
Synagogue.
Synagogue, yeah. I don't know why that came. See, that's my 10%. My 10%,
Your 10% is
just thinking.
just
Nonsense.
Well, I mean, you got to start thinking sometime.
You call me dumb? Yeah, because I am.
But the 10% rule is like that's something that I've been trying to work on mentally even before I heard him say it is if you're shooting to do like, let's say for instance me, 30 minutes of guitar practice a day, right?
Oh, yeah?
That's the dream. That's where you want to get to. Well, that's not the dream. That's the phase 1 of the dream that
Right.
you want to get to. Well, if you only squeeze in 10 minutes, there's no reason to feel bad that you only got 10 or 15 minutes of good practice in.
put in the
because
effort to
you
get
got
there.
That's probably 10 minutes more than you did yesterday, or than if you didn't do it at all. And that stuff adds up. So it's the little things. They all end up adding up in the end. So this is a long game. We're all in the long.
The Great Long. Yeah, that's our code word for life, people. That's
Great
what
Long.
this is. The Great Long. Oh no, I broke the mic. I didn't actually break it.
Keith has shortened my great long by breaking my microphone. Shortened my great long. That sounded
That's
real.
a great line, dude.
Oh.
Once you shorten my great long span, you gotta just put that word in there. Just be like, it's not,
Yeah, a little
what I
break,
mean.
little break there.
Oh God, yeah. He's dude, I watched maybe 3, 5 to 10-minute videos of him today, right?
Right.
And tomorrow, because I've been waking up at 4:30 to get to work at 6.
Oh shit, you're
So-
close. You're
Exactly.
Almost,
So tomorrow, I'm gonna try and wake up at 4, spend 30 to 45 minutes hitting the practice pad a little bit. You know what I mean?
right. Eat your banana. Wake
not
up at
eating a
4, eat a banana. Okay.
I fast the mornings, dog.
That's smart too.
I don't look like I fast the mornings, but I do.
All in due time. You'll get there.
What do you mean?
You'll get there. You'll get
all
there,
in
you
due
know?
time. You'll be fat forever.
Yeah, like your left side's gonna lose all the weight first.
Man. You know what would be bullshit? If you lost weight, but in the non-visible areas. So
Oof. Oh, the very inner thigh.
the very inner thigh and the meat around the ditch of your knee.
The ditch of your
the ditch
knee.
of your
I've
knee.
never
This
heard
is the
it
ditch
called
of the elbow
that.
right here. Look, the
I
ditch.
never heard it called that, but that makes perfect sense. Maybe I just have been in the dark. It's possible.
Well, let's use that 10% to get you out in the light, baby.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't mean to put baby on that.
Baby, come on now. Let's use that 10%. It sounds like we're trying to save some money on my
Yeah,
Discover
it's
card.
interest. There's some
Hey, we got that 10% cash back on this one.
I was straight faced and just committed to that sentence you were, man. That's awesome. That cracked me up.
Sometimes I do well.
You do well most of the time, man.
It's
You
that 10%.
carried this whole podcast.
You actually knew more about David than I did.
Not that much more.
Well, you watched more videos than I did.
That's all I did, too.
I know. I was
just
trying to
watched a couple videos.
I was reading CNBC articles, and I just didn't take notes because I'm smart. I thought I had it.
Shout out to Jessica for sending me a couple links that I never opened.
Super shout out, Jessica. I haven't seen her in 3 weeks now. She normally runs our little laptop and helps us find out information. Helps me not sound dumb.
And helps you not have to use your phone mid-sentence.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, man. No, I guess what would we do? One of these every month?
Something like that.
Yeah.
One every 4 episodes.
That'll be fine.
25%.
That'll be cool. And it's okay, excuse me.
I think I said Mind Power earlier.
Mind
I
Power,
like that a
yes.
lot. I'm going
do
to try
too.
to stick with Mind Power.
I do too.
If you guys have any suggestions for Mind Power or
Any
anything
individuals.
else for that matter, we don't have to just focus on Mind Power suggestions. Of course, we're always open to any podcast suggestion.
Truly.
Holler at us. Slide into our Facebook DMs. Leave us a message on our email address. Go to our website
Or our Instagram DMs.
or our Instagram DMs. Or if you can somehow contact us through Buzzsprout, dude, there's 50 billion ways to contact us. If you somehow can find our cell phone numbers, go ahead.
I think you can contact us on Spotify and Apple.
I think there's ways. I'm not sure how. What I'm saying is, click that Linktree link, find some social media format or something, and just send us a message. Be like, hey, guys, I think your podcast is pretty shitty, but it could be good if you would cover this topic. And then that'll be fine. That's an excellent message.
I mean, how easy do we have to make it for you people, man?
For real, we want some audience participation.
It would be
I
great.
feel like I'm on my knees begging for it at this point.
You're not. You're sitting down really cozily
But, yeah, you're right. But maybe one day I will
No.
full on go into the prayer mode. Please, please
Give us
care about
topics.
care about what we say.
Yeah. Actually. No, okay. I'm not begging.
And if this is the first episode you've heard from us in a while, please check out our previous episode featuring our friend Ricardo Sango, where we talk
Yes.
about America and the state of the situation that we are in.
Currently, yes.
I think we did a relatively good job. There's some biases, as always. We're pretty opinionated. Ricardo, on the other hand, was pretty
Neutral.
well-rounded.
Yeah,
so,
it was. And it's also the longest podcast, so it'll be the absolute opposite of these,
Yeah.
of the Mind Power episodes.
But please check it out. This
Yeah.
is going to be super dated later, but it won't be because it's always going to be the one that follows that episode. So if you're
Truly.
just now listening to this at any point in time, check that one out.
Yes. Okay. It's still raining, and hopefully I won't have to drive home in a torrential downpour.
I've got to go collect rainwater. Got a drink?
I've got a drink.
Yeah.
With the Ozarka bottle right to his left.
Yeah, we're stocking up for the long winter.
The long winter.
Yeah.
Okay, is that
Nuclear
another?
winter.
Is that a nuclear winter?
Yeah, it's gonna
Okay,
happen.
that's
I'm
another
just kidding.
podcast.
Yeah, that's a long time from now. I don't think a nuclear winter's coming anytime soon.
Oh, hopefully not, man.
I don't know if I can mind power my way through that one.
Yeah,
So
we'd have to.
we'd have to find a way. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Something fun. We're going to try to do a little mini-series.
Miniseries. Check it out on HBO next week.
God, I wish. You know how much money we'd make if it was on HBO?
We
Probably
make a
not
lot.
that much. Oh, maybe a lot.
We make enough.
Well, we have like
be happy.
42 listeners, so maybe if all 42 of you like
42 of them boys?
dedicated, yes sir.
Boys and girls?
That's right. We got a
That's
whole
awesome.
we got like 2 classrooms full.
All right.
We're working on it.
Hell yeah. We're going to
Appreciate
have a whole school.
Appreciate y'all out there.
I really do. Thank you, guys. You got any more closing statements? I don't
Man, I think
so.
I'm all talked out. I've said as much about Goggins as I know how to, and
Do you want to plug your dates?
no.
Yeah, I'm taking my
Oh, dude,
girlfriend on a date.
we need to find a way to fill in like Chris D'Elia's spot now that he's done.
Ooh. Cold shoulder. I know some people that will not like us for saying this.
That's okay.
And they're all female, ironically. Isn't that funny?
His friends all sold him out. So whether he did it or not,
Dude,
the
did
social
you see that?
axe has been swung.
I don't know if we should do this on the podcast.
Maybe not.
Nobody cares, but
It's just a little ending.
they'll never hear it. Yeah, we could take his spot real quick. Just start calling all of our listeners babies. Babies.
All my young babies.
All my little babies.
Babies.
All right, little babies. We'll catch you next Wednesday, all right? Be easy from Big Word and Little Thought.
Have a good day.